I cannot finish this exam. Don't freak out, but I'm peeing blood. A full Pennsylvania wilderness wild turkey. Hey, what's up, besties? Welcome back to today's video and welcome back to my channel. So my name is Cass. I'm all sunburned today. I thought that I would tell you guys some crazy stories from when I was in college. Mind you, I'm not a partier. I'm not a crazy party girl. I am really energetic and I love talking to people, but you'll never catch me at a party because too much stimulation. Like, I have enough stimulation with the way that I act. Like, being in front of a bunch of people would probably throw off my equilibrium. You know, I love entertaining crowds, entertaining people, but I've just never been a partier. But we're gonna talk about one of the most embarrassing things that's happened to me in a very, very long time. Tyler was helping me lift weights and we ended up getting to a little whatever, and I walked over to the weight and I was doing deadlifts. So I was using a bar with two weights on the side. It was probably like a 5 and a 10 or a 10 and a 10, whatever. And I'm sitting there, I'm going doing my deadlift or whatever the heck, you pull, you squat or whatever. So I'm doing that and I ended up not needing it anymore. So I pick up the bar, right? And I turn it this way and I go to take off the weight. So I'm taking off the weight. Bam, it hits into the mirror in the gym, cracks the entire mirror in the gym. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just broke this gym's mirror. So I start Googling. I'm like, how much is it to replace it? It's like $900 to $1,000 when it's like a big full wall mirror, and that's just the mirror. There's labor. Like, you literally have to get the mirror put on. And the thing is, it was like concreted. Like, it was on the wall. It wasn't just like a mirror where it was like, oh, it's one that you could just take off and put. No, this was like in the wall. I just smashed it. And it stood like that for a very long time, but we're gonna say what happened. So I didn't tell him, I didn't tell anyone, nobody saw. Like, nobody was looking at me. And I'm looking around and there's a bunch of dudes there. Like, there's a bunch of big buff dudes, and nobody looked at me, nobody made a noise. And I'm assuming it's because they probably saw but didn't want to say anything. So I'm freaking out. I took the other weight off. I put the because that thing, the bar, hit the mirror and it stood like this way. I was like, who the heck do I call? So I ended up going home and I called the Patrice lady, and I was like, oh my god, I broke your mirror, I'm so sorry. And she's like, they give us our budget every year to fix the gym. She's like, that's our whole budget, girl, but that's fine. And I felt so bad. I was like, can I pay for it? And she's like, no, honestly, no. And it was just the entire wall broken. Probably one of the most embarrassing things. And then I have another embarrassing story, which I'm hopped off caffeine, by the way. This is my second coffee or caffeinated drink of the day. I would always pee blood in college, and it was because I never ate a lot, and then I wouldn't drink anything, so I would get super dehydrated, and then I wouldn't take care of myself, take a shower or anything, because I was just so obsessed with doing stuff. So I would get UTIs. So I'm just worrying about school, and I was in the middle of an exam, and it was my math exam, and I was actually a math behind everyone in my major, so I had to take 2 maths in 1 year. So I took this math, and it was calculus 1, and it was the last day, my very last exam. I had 100 and something in the class, so it was way above a 4.0 because I had bonus and stuff. And I just remember I was taking the exam, and I'm looking looking at the exam, and I'm like, ow, and I'm like, there's a pain right in, I don't know where my kidneys are, but near my belly, and I'm like, this is so much pain, this is pressure. And so then I feel something trickle down my leg, and I guess I had lost function, or I peed. I don't know. Listen, this is so TMI, okay? But I just remember I'm in so much pain. So they gave you a bathroom excuse where you get walk to the bathroom with someone so that you can't look up the exam test questions. And I had to give her my phone. So I'm like, can I use the bathroom? And she's like, sure. So I gave her my phone, and then this other student, when they're done, they walk you down. So I got walked to the bathroom, and I was in the bathroom and I was peeing, and I just look in the toilet and it's all blood, and I'm like, and it's not blood girly pop blood, no, it's pee. I was peeing, I'm freaking out, and I'm crying, and I'm hysterical, and I can't call my mom because they have my phone in the classroom, because I only had one bathroom break. So I'm taking the exam, and I just I go back, I start taking the exam, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I'm in so much pain, I have to go to the hospital. So I just take my exam, I walk up to the teacher, and she was really nice, and I was like, hey, like, I'm so sorry, I have 100 and something in this class, I already have an A, I cannot finish this exam, don't freak out, but I'm peeing blood. And she's like, what? And she's like, do you need me to like help you call your mom? She's freaking out, and I'm like, no, it's completely fine, like we're doing great, like we're fine. And she's like, girl. And I'm like, no. She's like, let me walk you out. And then she had another student like sit in her seat and just like watch the other students. So then we walked out, and I went to the bathroom, which was like right down the hall. And she's like, are you sure there's something I could do? I was like, no, it's fine. Went to the bathroom, and I'm still like peeing, and there's like more and more blood, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. So I'm calling my mom, and I'm like freaking out. And my mom has never been to the campus before that, other than like tours. So my mom didn't know every single building. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't take my mom and be like, oh, this is this building where I have math class. No, I just gave her a regular general tour. So she's like, where are you? Like, can I pick you up? And I remember I was just so cold and clammy, and like I had like chills, and I was screaming when I got in the car because I was in so much pain. And my mom drove me to an urgent care instead of the ER, because the ER in my hometown takes forever. And they were like, oh, you have a UTI that turned into like a really, really bad kidney infection. So they gave me this stuff. It was like orange, I don't know, and it helps you like flush out anything that's like in your kidneys. And I got like all these tests done, and they said it was nothing bad, like it wasn't like, yeah, something really bad, but it was just like a really, really bad kidney infection. I was working at Walmart at the time. I had decided I was just not going to go into work, so I had to like call and get like leave of absence, which was crazy in another self, because they were like, how long are you going to be peeing blood for? Like my literal people who like give you the time off, they're like, how long are you going to be peeing blood for? I'm like, how do I know? I'm like, do you even expect me to be like, oh yes, on Tuesday afternoon I will stop? My very last story I want to tell you guys is when I was going back for graduation. So what we did was we had like spring break, and it was like during COVID at the time. So our last 3 years were still very much COVID, and I was working at Starbucks at the time. And my friend was like, you need to make sure that you have it all ready, because people say that if you don't have your cap, gown, and tassel on the day of graduation, when you're walking on the stage, they could tell you not to walk, because you're not fully in your regala, I think it's called, like your little outfit. So I was like, okay. So I remember it was like 3-4 days before graduation, and I could not find my tassel. I was looking everywhere. I was tearing the house apart. My tassel gone, completely gone. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, where's my tassel? I think I had left it in Tyler's car is what happened, but I don't know, it was just in Tyler's car. He had his in his bag, but for some reason mine was in his car. So my mom was like, you need to go down to Penn State and get a new tassel. So I go back down to go and order one. I also ordered one on Amazon just in case the one from Penn State wasn't gonna come in. I ordered one on Amazon that was with like different color too, so I probably would have gotten in trouble if I worn that one. But I decided, you know, whatever. I ended up basically just picking up a new one at the bookstore. Well, I'm on my way back from the bookstore, and I look at my car and nothing's there. But these two boys, like I couldn't see the front of the car, I could only see the back. These two boys were like laughing and pointing at me. So I'm like, maybe like I have something on me. Like maybe I look gross, or maybe they're just making fun of me. And they're like, yo, like they're being so dramatic. And these boys are looking at me, they're like, bro, look at that, bro. And I'm like, oh my god, like, am I ugly? I'm like standing there, I'm like, I'm ugly. Like, that's why they're screaming at me. Because I'm like so dramatic. And then I look at my car. Girl, you won't believe what was on the hood of my car. A turkey. A full Pennsylvania wilderness wild turkey. A full turkey. A turkey was on the hood of my car. And I actually have a TikTok to prove it, okay? I should upload this TikTok. There's a turkey sitting, okay, number one, it's like Thanksgiving size. Like, this is not a turkey that's like, oh, a little baby turkey. No, it's sitting on my hood, and it's like looking at my glass, and I'm like standing there, I'm like this frozen, because number one, I didn't have that thing that you could go, like open your car. I had to walk up to it, stick the key in, because I had an old car, turn the key, open the door, and get in. So I'm like plotting, and then these guys are laughing. I go home, I drive home, I start telling everyone this story. It was like a hit. Everyone was cracking up. My family was like, why are you so good at the turkey noise too? Like, And we're all dying laughing, and I'm calling my dad. I'm like, I just got attacked by a wild turkey. I did not get attacked. The campus had police. So I called the campus police and I was like, hey, there's a turkey. And they were like, yeah, the Pennsylvania Game Commission is gonna come down and shoot it, but they say not to do that. Like, they said they can't shoot the turkey or whatever, and they were gonna come and get it or something, but they have to specifically get it. I think what they do is they shoot tranquilizers into it, make it like super high so it falls over, and then take it and then put it back to where it's supposed to be. This is 3 of the craziest things that ever happened to me in college. None of it is like actually really something that would probably happen to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're literally at 360 subbies or besties, and I really hope that we can make so many more. But I love you guys so much, and bye.